We flip property,
Yeah,
feed our family. It'll be the norm.
As we continue on.
This is called Tenants vs. Landlord, Calvin.
Okay, now buy it in, I'll rent it.
Yeah.
Find me some tenants.
That's right.
Take at no holding back. I ain't with those gimmicks.
Let's go.
Add back to my team. Background look clean. Don't take it personal. All tenants are screen. House of your dream. Just promise one thing. I treat my house like my house gon' treat me. Life is a hustle. Everyday struggle. If you hit hard times, don't burn me, let's huddle. Don't bring no trouble. Ask my tenants, I'll be riding out. Hate to burst your bubble, but if you break the lease, then you getting out. First class security, get you those keys. Lisa, Lisi, we are a team. Tenants all in my house.
Yeah, what
Tenants all in my crib. Tenants with they spouse. Tenants with they kids. Talk about it now. Tenants all in my house. Tenants all in my
Yo, this is Financial Freedom Fighters, and I have Calvin Cannon Jr. with me, man. What's up, Calvin?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, good brother? What's going on? I love that song, man.
Thank you, man. We trying something new for marketing, you know what I mean?
Right,
we out here, we trying to use all our talents that God give us, man, and spread that financial wealth and just encourage people out here. And that's why you on here, man. You're somebody that can definitely encourage some people in the real estate game. I found it not robbery to have you on here, a good friend of mine, which is a family of yours that was actually on one of our Jones.
Okay.
Justin Harris referred you, man, and we hit it off on the conversation. So I just wanted to introduce you, man. The first question I have for you is, what sparked your financial freedom journey?
Ooh. Well, yeah, that's a good one. Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for having me on the show. It is an honor to be here with you. I heard a lot of good things about the show, and I'm glad I can contribute to this. So what sparked my interest to be financial freedom was being tired of putting too much time into a 9-to-5 that didn't appreciate me, right? And then also understanding how within the same 8 hours or half of that, I could make the same amount of money I was making in a month. So once I absorbed that and I understood that, I knew that it was time to take it to the next level. I was tired of having a cap and I was tired of having a ceiling. I worked for a lot of corporations and companies, district managers making over 6 figures. And it was always a cap. I get a 3% raise every year. I get a $10,000 bonus every year, but then that's it. And it was a pat on your back, good old boy, go back out there, you know what I mean? And do what we need you to do. So at that point, I realized how to make money for myself, how to make money for my family, and set up that generational wealth and get out of that generational curse of not being wealthy. So that was my spark of interest, working for a corporate company, knowing that I was of value to them, but wasn't of value to myself. So that right there broke the mold.
And that's a beautiful thing, man. What I hear from you saying that is basically what I say a lot of times. I believe that everybody on this earth has a God-given gift, talent, or skill. Right. One of them, if not all 3, and we just don't know how to create a business around it. And that's why somebody else used our God-given gift, talent, or skill. So you had a crazy God-given gift, talent, or skill, and you were making other people 6 figures, and they were treating you not acceptable, right?
Absolutely. Well, I was actually making the 6 figures, so they probably was making
millions.
more than 6 figures. I mean, they was making
exactly.
billions.
Exactly. So that's what sparked it. Number one, I commend all my entrepreneurs and everybody I talk to, financial freedom fighters, on having the courage, right? Because when you go through stuff like that, and you're making 6 figures, right? And that's not nothing to sneeze at, right? And some people obtain to do that, and you to have the wherewithal to say, listen, this is not good enough for me, I'm moving on. So I always say, and my wife always says it, it's not courage until you're nervous or you're scared. So you mean maybe you can tell me a little bit about if there was any fear there, but you still stepped it up and said, listen, it's an inevitability. I have to do this. It's a necessity.
Absolutely. So it wasn't, not only was it fear, I was petrified. Right.
Right.
So when your life and you're supporting your family off of a 6-figure income, and then you're trying to make a transition to make sure that you can cover your same bases and still provide for your family without depending on a job. So, I'll give you a little bit of background for myself. So I was a district manager for a very large supermarket chain, and that supermarket chain filed bankruptcy.
Wow.
So at that point, I was out of work probably for maybe like 6 days, and I panicked. I'm like, hold up, I'm making, 120K a year. Right. And now this company went out of business. I got this mortgage. I got, all this, car notes, insurance, all types of things going on. So I panicked. Right. And that 6 months, that 6 weeks that I panicked, I started stressing. I did pick up another job. And in that job, I came in as a district manager, making 6 figures as well.
Okay.
But within that 6 period, that 6 day period, I didn't realize the strength and energy that I had as an individual. I depended on this company to suffocate me and suffocate my mentality, right? So then I get to the next company. I started realizing my gifts, right? So I started wanting to push myself. So that company didn't like me to do promotion for myself because they wanted me to promote them.
Yeah.
So, then we had to,
yours.
Exactly, right? So we had to separate ways. So I took off a whole entire year before I got to the third company to make another 6 figure. In that 1 year and 8 months of the year, I made more than 6 figures going, leaving that company. But the fear was, is it going to be consistent? Right? Yeah, can I continue to do this? Right. So I made the 6 figures. I was good. Everything was great. Then I got the phone call from a pharmaceutical company, and it was like, hey, listen, we want to bring you in. We'll pay you the 120K. Come on in. And I'm like, man, this is a guaranteed paycheck every week, right? So I got back in the hamster wheel. So my mentality went backwards, right? So my mindset went backwards. I went back to corporate America, started getting the check. It's coming in, it's coming in, it's coming in. But then I started realizing my stress started increasing. My health started decreasing, right? My quality of life started decreasing. And I'm like, wait a minute. That year that I took off involuntarily, I still made 6 figures and I was healthy. I was doing well. I was doing the things that I love to do. I went back and now I'm stressed out. I was on a computer. So I was working 12-hour shifts, working 7 to 7, right? Wow. I would get off of work. I would come home another 3-4 hours on a computer doing things while my family's just looking at me like, well, damn, when do you have time for us?
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So at that point, I had to wake up. So I said to myself, the first thing I need to do, and this is for the audience as well, you can do this, but the first thing you need to do is you need to understand your assets and your liabilities. And then I had to start cutting back. I had the toys, the slingshots, the foreign cars. I said, you know what? This is not really who I am. This is who I'm perceiving to be. Right? Yep. Perception versus reality. This is what I'm perceiving to be. So I took the Jaguar back. Right. I sold the slingshot. I got rid of all the toys, all the stuff that was causing the overhead of my budget. So then I said, you know what? I don't need 6 figures to survive. I started scaling back. So then I took the full-time job. I left that and got a part-time job making, $15, $20 an hour just to see if I can survive. Right. Because my fear was we still was acclimated to that weekly check. So I left the 6-figure job. I came to the part-time job making under 40 grand. Right. And that check was just going in the bank. I wasn't even touching it because I started my business, right? I got my millionaire mentality back to get that billionaire mindset. Right. So I went back, I jumped back into me. I started building, but I still left the cushion of the $40,000 job just in case I failed myself. Right. So now I went from 120 to 40,000. So that's a tremendous decrease in salary. And I was still surviving. So I'm like, you know what? Get rid of the 40K job. I can do that. I got this now. Yeah. Right? So then I started, grabbing my cash funnels. I started learning about business. I've been doing real estate since 91. I started, picking up more houses in my portfolio. I opened up more businesses to get cash flow. Right.
Right.
And I teach this to my mentees that, whatever your credit score is the time you wake up, right? So if your credit score is a 500, you need to be up at 5 a.m. If your credit score is a 600, you need to be up at 6 a.m. Your credit score is a 700, you need to be up at 7 a.m. trying to figure it out, right? And a lot of people say, well, Calvin, if I'm up at 7 a.m., what am I doing? What you're doing is you take it to the next level. So now your credit score is the time of the hour that you get up, right? Then your credit score is the same financial attributions that you need each month. So if your credit score is a 500, you need to figure out how to make $5,000 cash flow each month. Your credit score is a 700, you need to be up at 7 a.m. trying to figure out how to make $7,000 cash flow. Your credit score 800, you need to be up at 8 a.m. bringing in $8,000 cash flow. So that's what you need to be doing when you wake up at that time.
Absolutely.
So that's how I was able to transition, that millionaire mentality.
That's a beautiful thing, and I'm trying to keep up, man, because you dropping a bunch of jewels, man, and I love that, man. Our audience is gonna love this, man. So one, I noticed that you were scared, but you overcame that fear. One, a great investor tip for everybody out there is one thing that I go by as an investor and working with a lot of buyers is mitigating loss, right? And if you are an investor or if you handle a lot of people's money and you invest a lot of people's money, you cannot guarantee them anything, right? But what you can guarantee them is that you have enough knowledge, experience to mitigate their losses, to make sure that if anything, they have options. So if you say you can make $1 million, you say, oh, well, you can make $1 million in this year, or you might be able to make 600,000, but at the worst case, you'll be able to make 5. You get what I'm saying? So you'll put them in a parameter of some sort. So you mitigated your own loss in the beginning by getting a part-time job. Yep. So that was, you were still fearless, but you said, you know what? I got a whole family. I got people that depend on me. I'm not going to be nervous to do this because I got to do this. But I still have to be responsible. I can't be all, because a lot of us entrepreneurs, we crazy, and that's one of our symptoms. We crazy. You hear about Tyler Perry, you hear about all these people that slept in their car and stuff like that. That's all fine and well if you're single, right? Especially men. You know what I mean? We'll get it how we live until we get it. But when you got other people relying on you, you know what I mean, and looking up to you, and you got things to sustain, a mortgage to sustain, right? You got a house, you ain't renting, you got a mortgage, you can't just dial back from that. But all the I guess the boy toys or the toys that you had, and you were like, hey, listen, this is not serving any purpose.
Right.
I enjoy them from time to time, you know what I mean? But this is not helping me get any further. Absolutely. So you did a lot of principles that I live by. I'm sure you live by them. Absolutely. So that's an amazing thing. So what I wanted to say on top of that is, the next question is, what made you choose real estate? What made you choose real estate? And I know everybody got a lot of answers to that, because let me harp on that for a second, because people think real estate, and we talked about this, as a buzzword. So a lot of people hear it, obviously, and want to jump into it. But also, it's not the only way to start your financial freedom fight. You know what I mean? You can become financially free doing other things, stocks, opening your own business, stuff like that. So I want to ask Calvin Connor Jr., what started you with real estate? Why you pick that one?
Listen, that's a perfect question. I've always had a desire for homes. I always had the knack of doing something with homes and helping people have homes to live in, right? I'm not really good with my hands. Like, I'm not a painter. I'm not a roofer. I'm none of that. But I'm great with consulting. I'm great with helping people get to the next level, right? Mm-hmm. And I had a passion for homes. So, back in '91, I graduated out of high school, started Temple University. I'm in college. And I was living in a duplex, right? And for those that went to college and graduated, such as myself, went for criminal justice, not even doing criminal justice. I'm a real estate investor, but so I was in school, and you know how, like, when you get your college stipends, right? So one semester I got a college stipend of about $5,000. So at this point, I'm a young kid, 19, 20 years old. I feel like I'm rich, right? So I'm like, I take that 5,000. I'm supposed to go back and get books. I took that 5,000. The duplex that I was living in, I purchased it for $5,000. So now back then, beautiful. I'm like, all right, no mortgage, right? No rent, because I was living in it. So, me and my buddies, we partying, we living it up. Right. And, get to the third senior year, coming out of school, a gentleman I met, just in being in the neighborhood, came up and was like, listen, I'll buy that property for you for $60,000. And so, you know, this back in the late 90s, and I'm like $60,000 and only paid 5 for it.
Right.
Where do I sign up?
Yep.
Right now, I wasn't thinking
Right.
because I didn't get the knowledge yet. Now this property was at 32nd and Cecil B. Moore.
Okay.
Right. So back then, I sold the property for $60,000. He came through, duffel bag of money. We went to a title company, signed off. I got the money. I left the house as it was. He took care of everything. So I took that $60K. I went back home and I'm like, wait a minute. I just bought this for 5.
Right.
I kept it for about 3 years and I made a $55,000 profit.
Right.
So I said, something's going on here. So then I started tapping into what did I do? Because I didn't even know about real estate transactions, right? All I knew was this man gave me $60,000. I put it in the bank accepted it. I was $60,000 up. Right. So then I took 10 of that and I purchased another property, a quad. And then I realized when I purchased the quad, I said, wait a minute, I'm paying realtors money to do my transactions.
Right.
I said, hold up. I went back to school and got my real estate license.
All right.
I said, you know what? I'm going to get on this ticket. So if I can buy my own properties and sell them, I'm making money as the buyer or seller, and I'm making money as the realtor. Right. So I went back, I got my license, and I started doing real estate. I started selling other people real estate at the same token on the other side, building my portfolio. So, you know, I bought a quad. I went in. I mean, it was horrible. I had a squatter that was living on all 4 floors. Okay. So I knew nothing really about real estate. I bought it. I got in there. You know, I'm trying to fix it up. She squatted. She locked me out. So I had to experience how to evict the tenant. Right. Because now I'm learning more and more stuff. Right. So then I said, you know, I can do this. Right. I can do this. I get out of school. I take the rest of that money. I start buying real estate. I start flipping real estate. I start holding real estate. I start selling real estate for other people. So at that point, I got the knack. And then I started mastering of how can I make this automated? Right. So then I started a property management company. Okay. And the rest is history.
Beautiful. So like I said, you're one of the perfect people to have over here, especially one of my first real estate guests, to be honest, and explain how it happened grassroots, right? It seemed like it was just a natural occurrence and that you followed life's trajectory to be able to do it. And you were just perceptive enough to say, I got something here. I had the courage to be like, I got something here. And then going the extra mile, saying, listen, I'm gonna get my license, because that's something I did. You know what I mean? I stumbled upon it as well. Somebody brought my grandmom's house. A wholesaler came past, brought my grandmom's house. Right. And I started looking into it. I didn't know that much at the time. I was about 18, 19. My grandpa was diagnosed with dementia. So they had to move into an older folks home. So he was always the deciding factor on moving. But after he did dementia, they was like, let's get out the hood. Let's move to this area. And that person didn't give him the money that I would have gave him now that I'm a wholesaler, right? And I kind of looked into it and understood more. And then I just didn't want to be a hustler or just, you know what I mean, good with money and picking things up. I'm like, I want a certificate. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to Poley and Associates. I'm gonna go there and get my license. So
exactly
you went the extra mile. You know what I mean? And
I went to Poley.
Yeah, see, I went up there. I looked it up. I said, listen, man, I could knock this out, man. And I wasn't the best in grade school. You know what I mean? Like I didn't go to college. So I say that to say this: you went the extra mile, man. You made it a profession and you made it a business. And so many people treat real estate like it's a quick come up,
a hustle. They treat it like a hustle.
They think it's a hustle and it's a quick come up, and it's not. If you don't turn this into a business, you'll be fly by night. And that kind of leads me to my next question: is like, you was winning. Have you took any losses, and how do you bounce back from those taking losses? And is that to be expected in real estate investing? Or do everybody? Because it seems like on social media and stuff like that everybody just winning and ain't nobody taking losses. So I don't know that to be true in real estate. How about you?
Yeah, listen, everybody take a loss, and that's one thing about social media that I was saying earlier is perception versus reality. Everybody want to show you the glory, but nobody want to show you the sweat and tears, right? So and I'm always a transparent religious, right? I like to give people the good and the bad. I took plenty losses, right? I took a lot of losses, right? So when I bought that quad and I paid that 10 grand for it, because I didn't know about real estate, I was just dumping money. I was hiring jack-leg plumbers, jack-leg, handymen to come in, and it was costing me more and more money, right? And then I would put money up buying something from an auction. I got a story for you, right? So in my real estate career, I started purchasing from the sheriff's sale. And, you know, a lot of times us as investors, you know, we take the mindset of when I'm in here, I'm coming out of here with a property, right?
Right.
Because, you know, the auction, I was going to the auction twice a month. So one time I'm in the auction and, you know, I was bidding on the property, I got outbidded, right? But the desire and fire of wanting to come out of there with a property, I was bidding blind on something. I didn't do no research, right? So I made a mistake, right? So I'm in there, you know, property name come up. I think I'm educated enough to know this area, and I didn't. Typically, I go in, I'll have 10 properties. I do all my research for them. You know, I'll visit the properties. I'll get inside the properties. I stick to the plan. This particular time, I ran through my whole 10 list, and I got outbidded for all 10. So I didn't stick to my plan. So the property came up, you know, on D Street, 191 Farrell, and I'm thinking, I know this 100 block. I'm good. So I'm bidding, bid it all the way up to 45,000. I won the bid of the property. I lead the auction. I'm all hyped up. I'm excited. I go jump on Google Maps outside. I realize this isn't the area that I thought it was. Right. So then I jump in my car. I immediately run over to the property, and I'm like, man, this ain't it.
Yeah.
So now $45,000 that I had, you know, bidded up to, I had to put down 10% right there on the spot. So I gave up $4,500. Right. So I look at the property. I get inside of it. I realize somebody's living in here. So now I got a squatter. I got, you know, a house that's not worth 45. I run the ARV, the comps is 25. I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right. So at that point, I had to make a decision. I had to either close in 30 days with the balance of 45,000 or walk away from 4,500.
Right.
So I had to walk. I walked away.
You walked away. I was about to say, what'd you do?
I walked away because here's the thing. I walked away because your first loss is your best loss.
Yeah.
Right. Your first loss is your best loss. So even though I lost 45, it probably was 48K because, you know, the sheriff put their little tax on it too.
Yeah.
So if I rounded up to $5,000, I had to walk away from $5,000 because I was uneducated. I rushed and I didn't stick to the script. So in real estate, a lot of times we get so animated and we get so emotional over properties that we don't stick to the script. Right. And then what happens is we either overbid, we overpay, you know, we overperform, and then we take losses. So I took a $5,000 loss, right? And I didn't have a bunch of money to just be taking a $5,000 loss. Remember, you know, I'm the entrepreneur now. I have a family to feed. You know, I got a mortgage every month. I got bills. I got responsibilities. Losing $5,000 to some, they'll be on social media and say, oh, that's nothing. I blew a bag. Guess what? They lying.
Yeah, they are.
They're lying because $5,000 lost to anybody is a loss.
Right.
Is a loss. So I took that loss, you know, went back, beat myself up for like 3 days, and I went back at the market trying to find something else. And I was lucky enough to research and find another property, which was a duplex in a better area for 56K. Right. So now here it is, a duplex in 19126 for 56K, and I was about to pay 45K for a single family 2-bedroom home in 19140.
Right, absolutely.
It didn't make sense because I didn't do my homework. So you know, I took a loss there. I took losses with allowing tenants to become tenants in my properties and not collect the money, and I had to, you know, get them evicted. I took losses there. You know, I took losses with investing with other JV deal, you know, which is a joint venture, giving up money for things that didn't happen. I took losses there. So real estate is not all glory. If you don't do your homework, if you don't have patience, and if you don't stay grounded and take your emotions out of it, you will take a loss. Don't follow social media. Don't, all these gurus out there, they're showing you when they was up, right? Real estate and success is not based on a microwave. It's based on a slow cooked oven. And if you don't pay attention, either your mill gonna burn or you gonna burn. Right. If you put it in the microwave, you're getting a fast cooked meal that it won't taste right at the end of the day. Yep,
absolutely. I read a book and they said something about the microwave process versus marinade process.
Absolutely.
You know, and I love what you say, man. You got a lot of important points that you just went over. And one of the biggest things that stand out to me is something that I live by is the difference between being intelligent and having wisdom.
Yeah, exactly.
I never come at people's intelligence, right? But I'll talk all day about wisdom, because it's not about how intelligent you are. You could be in neuroscience and try to get in real estate, you'll still take a loss.
Yep.
And I don't care if you're an astronaut, you'll come in real estate, you'll take a loss.
Absolutely.
When you're in, nothing substitutes for wisdom, and wisdom comes from experience. I failed. You can read a book all you want, man. You could have a dad that was in it, right? Unless you have gone into the game yourself. And if you play a sport, people are really familiar with that. Unless you in the game yourself, you have the people that talk about. You got Stephen A. Smith. You got all those people. Let them check the ball up and see if they don't have a learning curve right there. And they know all about the sport in and out, right?
Yep.
There's nothing substitute for wisdom, and that's where those losses come from. When you lose, you're wiser. Right. It's not about your intelligence. You know exactly what not to do.
Absolutely.
Exactly, because it resonates with you. It's emotional, right? So it stays with you. And I've talked to you about it. Took many of losses, right? I have more wins than losses, and as I got more wisdom in me, I could let you know. It's just like playing ball, man. Like when I was younger, I could dunk, I could do all this stuff like that. Now I know if somebody taller than me, I'm usually faster than them. I'm gonna take them to the hole. I know if somebody's shorter than me, I'm gonna put them in the torture chamber. I'm gonna back them down. Like I don't do stuff just because I can do it no more. That's that's how wise you become in entrepreneurship and also in real estate investing. You don't just do stuff just cause. It gotta be a reason.
Strategic. It has to be strategic.
Yeah, you have to be strategic. And then also those losses, sometimes those setbacks are set up for a come up. Just like the end part of your story, right? You have to be resilient. You have to be resilient. You have to know that, listen, I'm gonna win, but I'm trying to get this right because I've been thinking about this a lot and writing about this. It's a difference between fail and loss. Right. And you can come back from a failure, right? You know what I mean? Like, but you don't want to lose for good, right? You don't want to lose. The only time you lose is when you give up. That's over. It's over.
Absolutely.
Right? But you're gonna fail sometimes. And then you pick yourself back up and you get back to that. And I think I said that right. I've been thinking about those words a lot. You know what I mean? Fail and lose. But
what it is that when you lose and you quit, you lost.
Right.
You can lose and get back up. You just can't quit. Once you quit, you gave in. So you lost. You know what I mean? You lose, but when you quit, you lost. So yeah, absolutely. And that's a big message because when people think that it's all glitter and it's all gold, they want to hop in it. But they're not, they don't have the muscle to be like, hey, listen, this is a journey. It's like what Nipsey say, right? It's a marathon. Right? That's why so many people held on to that. And that's why I kind of honor his business attributes so much, because while everybody was trying to get signed and doing that stuff like that, he was slowly but surely buying his whole neighborhood up and building from infrastructure on out, but he owned everything. It don't happen as fast. Owned every single thing he had. So whereas other people were trying to fight back for their masters after they had all this love, and they still fighting, right? Yeah.
You got Lil Wayne fighting his pop, right? Or whatever that situation is, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's crazy because when you own your own and you do it the marinating way, it's not the microwave, nobody can tell you what to do and how to do it, and your wisdom is going to keep on growing, and it's actually something that you can pass down to your children and people that have your last name. You're grinding for your last name and not your first name.
Legacy, absolutely.
Yeah, legacy. So another question I wanted to ask you, man, what is your strategy now? Like, I know you started at 1991, you was in the game early, man. You getting properties like, I would have loved to get something for 5,000, 10,000 duplexes. You know what I mean? That was amazing. Like I was trying to sneak to my first Greek around then. So I wasn't knowing. I think I was 12, 13. So where are you at now? You've had longevity, number one. And how has things changed, and what do you focus on now in real estate?
So yeah, you're absolutely right. Those $5,000-$10,000 deal properties that I was getting back then, that they no longer exist. They exist, but not at that dollar amount. So my strategy now is just like I was telling you about, like, waking up at your credit score and getting that cash flow in, the same number as your credit score. So my strategy is each month to build a funnel in real estate. So now I have a whole network of wholesalers. I do a little bit of wholesaling myself, but it's not my niche. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't wake up every day looking for the wholesale deal. I wake up every day reviewing what the wholesalers already got. You know what I mean? So I'll review those deals. I'll see what works for me. And then, my financial literacy portion of it is that I'm buying properties now that fit my niche of the portfolio where I'm at. So I always invest while I rest. Right. So if I have a particular zip codes for my portfolio, if I purchase in those zip codes, I hold them and I keep them. I also purchase outside of my niche, and if it's outside of my niche, I'm going to flip that property. So I have funding for my holds, and then I have funding for my flips. So my flips is where I get my annual salary from. My holds is where I get my monthly residual cash flows from. So that's pretty much my system when it comes to real estate. You know, I do this every day. I eat, sleep, crap real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like this is my life. You know, I property manage. You know, I'm buying, I'm holding, I'm renting. You know, that's what I do. So the formula is have a nest for my holds, have a nest for my flips. The goal is to buy 2 properties to hold a month and try to flip 5 properties a year.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that.
So that's pretty much my nest.
Beautiful. And what you mentioned there, so the audience can kind of pay attention to that is that you diversify with multiple streams of income, right?
Absolutely.
So not only do you have education, you have consulting, you have flips, and you also have buy and hold, and that's not even getting to whatever else you got going on. So that's 4 streams of income.
Behind me is all my companies.
Right. So right behind him, as everybody can see, is all his companies. He's got property management as well. So what I'm saying to everyone is that, and which I preach about a lot of times in some of my courses, and when I consult, it's like, all right, depending on who I'm working with and what level they're at, it's like, all right, now it's time for your money to make money for you, right? Because I work with entrepreneurs, you know, to a certain level, so I don't even mention real estate from the gate. You know, I have people that come to me directly for real estate, and especially with my niche, it is wholesaling. So I'm an investor as well. I buy and hold, but I became really gifted at locating these discounted properties, and I feel like it's always a need for it. And then also I have a great way of dealing with buyers. Like buyers love me from all different cultures for some reason, whether they Israel, Jewish, Asian, Russian. My buyers list is crazy, and they check on me. Like so, I found out it was a niche there. But what I always stress to individuals is that you have to have multiple streams of income. You have to have your money start to make money for you. And then I always give them examples of the people they look up to. I'll say, well, LeBron James, right? You got LeBron James. You always think, oh, I want to be a millionaire like him. All right. He has one job that makes $1 million, and he still got multiple streams. You get what I'm saying? When he got signed to the Cavaliers, he already got $1 million contract, but then Sprite picked him up too, right? Right from the gate, gave him a multi-million-dollar contract, right? Then Nike picked him up, multi-million-dollar contract. These people diversify themselves. Even when you talk to somebody on a lower level of money, but success, like Tiffany Haddish, right? She's doing voiceovers now, right? She's stand-up comedy. If these people are millionaires and you think your job as SEPTA is going to get you financially free, it's going to sustain you, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is going to sustain you, and it's definitely a crazy starting block, because I really wish, thinking back, I started with a solid job. I did. I was all entrepreneur, but a truck driving job for 2 years would have really helped me out. You know, working for SEPTA, a job where you're getting paid $50,000, $60,000 to put it towards something. Like, it's always important to be diverse and have multiple streams of income. So I'm so glad you spoke on that, because you know that when one is doing bad, the other one is doing well, or 3 of them are doing well. It's never a time where all of them are doing bad. Never. You get what I'm saying? But there is a time where if you have one business, you know you're going to go through tough times. At least once or twice that year. You know it, because it's a down season.
Absolutely. So a lot of times the old theory, and this is the reason why education is so missed when it comes to schoolwork education, and training and coaching is so important. Right, because we, you know, when I was coming up and others was coming up, everybody focused on, you know, high school, go to college, get your degree, get a good job. Well, that was the setup, right? That was the hamster wheel setup. Because what I'm learning now, and I have a mentor, right? I have a mentor. I go to classes. I pay for mentorship too, and I also teach it. But what I learn now, I would have never learned in high school or college. Nothing in high school or college told me anything about real estate. Nothing in high school and college told me anything about financial literacy. Nothing in high school or college taught me anything about writing a check or receiving a check or what to do with a check or how to approach a bank, right? Nothing, it did none of that. So now what I teach people is, first you learn, then you earn. Right. First you learn, then you earn. Because if you're not learning, you're not gonna earn, right? So you gotta so you definitely have to do that, and you have to have a foundation, like just like you said. You know, if you have LeBron James, his foundation is basketball, right? That's his foundation. So everything built in this world has a foundation. Yeah. If you look at a building, they got the concrete foundation, right? If you look at banks, they got a foundation. You look at credit unions, they got a foundation. So people miss the first step of business by not having a foundation. And I always do this test with people, right? So what I say to them is, I say, count to 10, right? Count to 10 for me. And most people are going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some people are going to get slick with it, like, oh, this is a trick question. 5 and 5 equals 10. Or, 5 times 2 is 10. Or 9 plus 1 is 10. So it's 1,000 ways to get to 10, right? It's 1,000 ways. What the most important thing that they miss is everybody missed 0. Right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0 is the foundation. Everybody jumps over 0 to get to 1. Right. And you have to start at the foundation. So that foundation is going to help board and spring you to the next level with all your residuals. If one residual is struggling, what you can do is one business can take a loan from another one of your business that you can pay yourself back 6 to 8% to help that business breathe. Right. So I always teach this 2021. My slogan for 2021 for my mentees is, in 2021, I will be the bank. I'll be my own bank. Right. And how you build it up is from your foundation. Then you take those funnels and filters and you put them inside other businesses that's going to filter other businesses. And if one fails, have that business borrow a loan from your business to pay that business back, and you get paid the transaction fees, the person holding the loan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they all facts. Absolutely. I've done it. That is a big piece of financial education for everybody, because they're not as aware of that their businesses are separate from them, and that's another thing I teach my mentees, to know that your LLC, how America works and how they set it up there. So they're evil geniuses, is that you can actually testify against your business. Like, you would have to be called, and go on the stand and talk about things about that business. Absolutely. Right? Because it's literally that's why I say an entity, right? So you can borrow a loan from that. It's like, oh, I'm borrowing it from myself. No, you borrowing it from Property Management LLC, or you borrowing it from Millionaire Mentality, or that's where I'm borrowing it from. I gave it the wisdom call. Colin wasn't in this joint. I don't know what y'all talking about. Listen. This is my social security number. This is my money. This is what go with my last name. These are the businesses. You know what I mean? So we gotta. I'm a role in it. I'm a controlling role in it. Right. But this is a whole different entity. So they need to really be clear on that. And I think it's hard for them to understand that, because they hopped on the website and they got on the Secretary of State and they filed and they went on IRS and got the EIN number. But just like you might have had a child, that child has a different social security number, right? Absolutely. So you are somewhat responsible for that child to a certain degree. But if that kid goes out and do something crazy, that's not completely on you unless they are within your jurisdiction at that point in time, right? So it's really financial education. These are the things that you do not learn in high school, college, or anywhere, right? You don't learn leverage. You don't learn OPM, other people's money. You don't learn how to create business credit off your EIN number where your personal credit's still messed up, right? Absolutely. Like, you don't, oh, well, my personal credit's messed up, I can't do nothing. Why you say that? Right. You can. Why you say that? Because you have to know that the forefathers that came over to this country from England, they created a lot of little trickery. And if you read enough, you find out how they became wealthy and rich. Okay. So you dropping jewels like crazy, man. So the last thing I want to ask you is really a free for all, man. What would you want to leave with somebody maybe like you in 90, in 91, or somebody that is got the consistency, got the gift, got the skill, got the talent, and they just want more out of life. They want a better quality of lifestyle, and they might not even be mentally where they want to be financially free. They want some financial relief out of this business. You know what I mean? Like, they want some financial relief, and they want to learn how to get into this thing. What would you suggest for them? Yeah. So one very important thing is that, control everything and own nothing.
right?
Right.
And what I mean by that, because I don't want to misconstrue.
Jewels, fellas, ladies, jewels, really.
I don't want nobody to misconstrue that when I say that. So control everything and own nothing. So what that means is that you have to build up your LLCs. You have to get an LLC and you have to build it up, right? Mm-hmm. So one thing that I would suggest to people, if you want to get into this and you want to learn, don't be afraid to get mentorships, join programs, follow people that's doing what you're trying to do. Stop scrolling through Instagram just to see, the Joneses, or stop scrolling to see all the unnecessary distractions. Your Instagram, your phone book, you have to audit that, right? Mm-hmm. And I always teach my students this: audit your phone book, audit your Instagram. Ask 3 questions when you look at your phone book, and ask 3 questions when you look at your followers on social media. 1, is this person adding value to me, right? 2, what's the last thing and the last time I spoke to this person and obtained something that was interesting to take me to the next level? 3, am I helping this person? Because even though you pulling so much from somebody, are you giving somebody something? Am I helping this person be better? Is this person a positive attribute in my circle? And if your answer is no to them 3, push delete.
Right.
Push delete. Right. You should only be following people that are allowing you to get to the next level. You can't get to the next level following the nonsense, right? So you gotta separate the perception from the reality. If you want to be in real estate, you should follow people that's in real estate, right? If you want to learn about financing, you should follow people that's doing finance, and don't follow people that's already at the top.
Right.
Don't follow people, a Jay-Z or all these people at the top, because they're not looking for you. Mm-mm. They're not checking for you. The only thing they're checking for you is you got to check for them when they do something. You need to follow people that's on your level so you can reach one, teach one, right? So you can teach people to get to the next level, because everybody has a piece of information that can help you. If you can go out and buy a PS5, if you can go out and buy Gucci, Louis, Prada, if you can go out and buy all these things, then you have enough to invest in yourself and your own knowledge. Spend a couple $100 for a mentorship program. Find somebody that you can say, listen, I don't have no money, but I'm very interested in the things that you're talking about in your mentorship. What can I do to help you make your job easier so I can tag along and learn? Right. That's how I got started, right? So my mentee bought a whole block. I had no idea, no experience on how to build blocks, sell blocks, or nothing. So what I said to him is, what can I do to learn this business? He said, you know what? You got your real estate license. I'm going to make you my realtor. You just be down here every day at 9 to 5. Where was I at every day? Right there, 9 to 5 learning, right? So we got to sometimes put, our liabilities that we're chasing to the side and focus on the asset. And the asset is this. It starts with this. People can listen to this podcast over and over and over again, right? Get all the jewels they want. But if you don't start with this millionaire mentality, if you don't start with this right here, everything that you're learning today is going to go to the wayside. So you got to start with this, tap in, and keep playing this video over and over and over again. Write down what we're saying. Write down the things that you're doing. Tap into people that's getting you to the next level, because that's how you're going to get there. You can't depend on somebody who always going to, the naysayers. You can't depend on, if somebody's telling you, oh, that's not going to work. You know what you tell them? No problem. Thank you for listening. And you keep it moving, because no doesn't mean no. We make no negative. No means next opportunity. Right. No means next opportunity. So every door I knocked on and they was like, no, Mr. Cannon, I said, thank you. I see you at the top. Yeah. Right. Because it means next opportunity. This opportunity is just not for you and I. Right. But I'm going to get to where I got to go. So never allow somebody to push you back, and follow the people to where you want to be. If you want to be an attorney, you're going to be around attorneys. You want to be a real estate investor, you're going to be around real estate investors. If you still hanging around, man in them, you're going to be with man in them, right? So you got to control your circle, right? You got to control the people around you and see if they're taking you to the next level. But you also have to bring something to the table, right? That's how you get to the next level. You don't have to take the losses that everybody else took if you pay attention and pay for the experience. Right. Because that's what you're paying for, right? I can give you a book, but if you don't understand what I'm saying in the book, you might need me to break it down for you. So you're paying for the experience. You're not paying because I know real estate. Yep. You're not paying because I know finances, right? You're paying because what I went through, I'm saving you from the losses that I already took. Yeah. Right? Exactly. And that's how you get to the next level. Tap into people that's tapped into what you're trying to be tapped into.
Beautiful. And I just want to say one thing before we end this, actually, off what you said, man. There's a lot of things I can say off that, but I don't want to go overboard. One of the biggest things, and it's a testament to you, and also I hope and I plan to make it a testament for most of the people that come on here, if not everybody.
Yeah.
So something you said was about looking up to Jay-Z and stuff like that, and they have their place, right? But the reason why I really wanted to do this vlog, I'm successful in my own right. You're successful in your own right. I don't need to do this to make money.
Right.
The reason I'm doing this is because I don't think the average entrepreneur is highlighted enough. And there's a lot of people out here doing some crazy things, living an exceptional life. And everybody is focused on trying to be Jay-Z. And that's one in a million. He's a billionaire right now. And it doesn't mean that Calvin is not going to be able to get up there. And his kid's going to be. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to be able to get up there. But you need some applicable steps to get to one level, to the next level. And not tooting people's horn, but I'll use you. Right. Your levels above where certain people are going to be at that's watching this, but you're a lot closer than Jay-Z is.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And I don't think they get to see in between that.
Yeah.
They don't get and it's a huge margin between that. Like
bar right there. Yeah.
A very huge margin in between that. So and then on top of that, you care. I hear it.
Yeah.
I care. This information saved my life. It changed my life. Absolutely. I'm able to do a lot of things that I didn't think it was possible. When I got into real estate, it was literally because I'm like, all right, if I learn this house, I could save the rest of the people in my family from getting burnt, because grandma, the only house that was really owned, just that could have been left down to us, just got burned. And if I fell at this, at least I have a house.
Absolutely.
That's how it started, bro. Like, at least I have a house.
You got a house.
Worst case scenario, and a lot of people in my family did not own a house.
Right, facts.
So that was the start of the win. Yeah. But then it grew, just like you, it grew into so much more, and just the information, the education literally saved my life. And I find it not robbery to share these things. They have to know, and I can't be the only one. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, let me interview as many other entrepreneurs and people in real estate that I know that's on this fight, this financial freedom fight, to say, hey, I'm trying to be that branch in the tree that changes my family tree.
Absolutely.
That has that heart and has that courage to do it, and how you going about it and what you do and how, you know what I mean? Like just everything about it. So I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Listen, information changes situations, right? So you got to tap in. Information changes situations. If you're in a situation that you're not liking, go get the information so you can change it. That's how it works.
Absolutely. So we have here Calvin Cannon Jr., man, phenomenal. You guys see all his backdrops in the back. Please watch this over and over again. Reach out to this man if you want some mentorship. I can vouch for him. I haven't been through any of these classes, but I've been in this game for a while, man, just like you have. You can be on the phone or talk to somebody for 5 to 10 minutes and know what their passion is, what purpose is, and how seriously they take them, if they have value to bring. And you guys just watch this whole video. You know this man has value to bring, period. So hopefully he has room within his mentorship to help, because I'm running out of room. I'll be telling people like, listen, because I'm picking the right ones. I don't want everybody in my joint. I need success stories.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I need success stories, and I know you do too. So I want somebody that's really steadfast, have all those intangibles, like you willing to work hard, stuff like that. I'm gonna give you the information, but let's go. We got to strap on and go. So I appreciate your time, brother, man. We're gonna talk very soon.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, man. Listen, and everybody, you can follow me on all social media platforms.
Oh yeah, shout that out.
And Calvin Cannon Jr., social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Calvin Cannon Jr. Tap in. I talk to any and everybody, but just like my man said, if you want the information, you got to show that you want it. You know what I'm saying? Don't show up for the class and then you're not going to do the work. So I give out that work. So if you're ready to work, I'm ready to give you that work.
All right, my man. You take care, brother.
You too. I'll talk to you. Thank you.
All right.
We flip property. Yeah, this is our family. They're depending on me. They're depending on me. Yeah, we flip property.